He is Jalen Rose.
From Toronto, the lovely young Dundas Square. What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in,
Together we are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do, Mr. Rose?
we give the people what they want.
Dramatic night last night in Toronto. Kevin Durant was cleared to play before the game. The rumors were that he was playing, and he warmed up, and he danced in the hallway. And when he took the court, he was on fire. He hit his first 3 threes, had 11 points in the game, and looked to be all the way back. And then the nightmare happened. Driving to the hole on him, Serge Ibaka, he was injured. And eventually, he would walk off the floor and go into the back. And it's bad. It is an Achilles injury. They expect it to be a tear of his Achilles. Jalen Rose, we will talk about this almost the entire show today. But my first question for you is, how does this moment change the NBA Finals moving forward?
Well, it changes it dramatically. I was a person coming into this series, had KD been healthy, I would have picked the Warriors in 5. With KD injured, I said Raptors in 7. It looks like that's where we're heading. You hate to see anyone get injured, especially somebody the magnitude of somebody like Kevin Durant on a stage like this, but I must state the obvious, and this is coming from the heart. As fans, as media, as supporters of the game, congratulations, you got your pound of flesh. This idea that Kevin Durant is just as good as other NBA players at 75%. Yeah, when he's catching and shooting 3 threes, but soon as it's time to penetrate and make a play off the dribble, he re-injures himself. I go on Countdown Friday night, and I specifically said Kevin Durant's workout did not go well for anybody involved, and that he basically punted on the workout. For anybody that follows football, I don't know if people really understood what I was saying. On 3rd down and 3, if you punt the ball, it's a surrender that you're gonna get a chance to play another down, and you want your defense to now get a stop and get the offense back the ball, okay? He was not ready to go. And if you're not ready to go on Friday with a strained calf that's kept you out for 30 days, that obviously affects your Achilles, because anybody that saw him with ice clearly seen that he had it on his calf and he had it on his Achilles. You're not all of a sudden gonna be ready to play against Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors in an NBA Finals game. And Oskino and Sparks said it best. People will bring flowers to your funeral, but never soup when you're sick. And I can't front. I was standing on the stage at the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy graduation and thinking, the time and energy it takes to earn the respect and the trust of these families and students and members of our staff, to now have a collection of people that have worked so very hard and sacrificed themselves, that we've not only graduated students from high school, but we've graduated students from college. We had one media outlet there to talk about it. But if something tragic happens to me, oh man, it'll be cameras at the school forever. So as an athlete and as a public figure, we don't cry for sympathy. People think because you have fame, because you have money, all you gotta do is get out there and perform. We just wanna see you do what you do until something happens. So for everybody, save the fake crocodile tears for Kevin Durant. Because if the Golden State Warriors were up 3-1 and they won without him, people will be saying what they said in the Portland series. See, I told you they were better without him. Look how much the offense is moving without him. The ball is moving. They look so much better. But no, he caved to public consumption. Kawhi didn't cave. When he got misdiagnosed by the Spurs, he played 9 games. And whether it was Pop, whether it was Tony Parker, whether it was the media saying he should play, he trusted his body. And he waited, got traded, and now he's shining in the NBA Finals. For Kevin Durant, who we see hears the criticism because he's in the comments. And we understood that the Warriors probably would not be his team. That's why we all anticipate that he's going to leave to prove something to us. So now all of a sudden he plays, and directly it's like he was bullied to play. He gets out there and tries to perform on the biggest stage when his team is facing elimination, and he gets hurt again. And if he tore his Achilles, it's going to cost him 12 months of his NBA career.
So I'm glad you went there because I want to talk to you about that decision to play. Bob Myers came out and he said that there was multiple doctors involved. The whole medical staff cleared him to play. He worked out. It didn't go well, as you said. You know, how much of this was the public persona and the public saying that the Warriors are better without KD. Should Kevin Durant have played?
No, no, no. I came through the door. I said it before. No. If they were up 3-1, David Jacoby, do you think he would have played?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so they were facing elimination. He hears the chatter. He comes out and feels like, I'm going to shut everybody up. And he makes a couple of catch-and-shoot threes, and then I have people trying to even assassinate my character. Oh, Jalen said the workout didn't go well. He didn't know what he was talking about. Then all of a sudden, he tries to do a move off the dribble and re-injures himself, and then now all of a sudden, everybody want to fake and act like that they care when he was never ready to go.
So, Jalen, the president of basketball operations for the Warriors, Bob Myers, was the person with him the second he left the floor and walked him out of the arena when he left the arena. Afterwards, he faced the press, and here's what an emotional Bob Myers had to say.
Prior to coming back, he went through 4 weeks with our medical team, and it was thorough, and it was experts and multiple MRIs and multiple doctors, and we felt the process. He was cleared to play tonight. That was a collaborative decision. I don't believe there's anybody to blame, but I understand this world. And if you have to, you can blame me. I run our basketball operations department.
Jalen, what do you think about Mr. Myers' comments?
I think that if you're looking for somebody to blame, it's a collective. The Golden State Warriors wanted to win a series, and their best player seems like he's ready to go. The best player feels like he's willing to go. They look at one another and say, let's try this. So I'm not putting more blame on the Warriors or KD or any way, shape, or form. What I am saying is this. He missed over 30 days because of a strained calf that clearly affected his Achilles. You don't all of a sudden not be able to do a workout on Thursday and then be able to play at an elite level on Monday after sitting out multiple weeks. It just doesn't work like that. He came back because they were facing elimination, and he caved to public pressure that athletes hear. The chatter, you're weak, you're soft, you're not competitive. Oh, the players from back in the day, they would have found a way to get out there and perform. And yes, that has happened. But however, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's smart.
Well, it did happen, and the nightmare happened for Kevin Durant. He now is hurt. So there's implications beyond the last two games of this NBA Finals. There's implications on his career. As we all know, he has an option to opt out of his current deal with the Warriors. He also has an option to opt in, a player option for about $31.5 million. He could stay with the Warriors, sign a 5-year deal for $221 million, or he could go elsewhere and potentially get a 4-year, $164 million deal. Those are 3 different paths that he could take this summer. What do you think is the best decision for Kevin Durant?
I always felt like the best decision for Kevin Durant is to stay with the Golden State Warriors. He's the reigning back-to-back finals MVP. The reason why I believe and so many thought that he would leave at the end of this season was for validation. The reason a lot of people felt like he came back yesterday was for validation, to show the world that he can lift the Warriors from a 3-1 deficit and win the championship and become the hero that we all love when we watch the drama that plays out that is called sports. But it did not take place that way. I always felt like running with the Splash Brothers in that situation was the best thing for his future. After how his teammates responded, after how Bob Myers responded, I think now having that love, having that bond, getting injured on that big stage will really affect his decision-making to the point where I hope now he decides not only to stay, but to stay long-term.
I agree. Do you think that he will receive those type of offers, that he will receive the maximum that other teams can give him, and he will receive a 5-year max offer from the Warriors?
He's going to get the money regardless. The other 29 teams would clear cap space in a heartbeat to add Kevin Durant. The Golden State Warriors would go into the luxury tax without a problem if it was to retain Kevin Durant. So I don't see finance being the issue. It's just a matter of commitment. And I anticipated he was going to leave at the end of this year. I don't think that somebody on crutches coming off an Achilles tear should sign a 1-year deal when he's in his 30s and then try to look up and go somewhere else. I think this hopefully now lends to him signing a 5-year deal with the Warriors.
I agree. One of the first things that went through my mind after I sort of digested the injury and the impact of it and the fact that he wouldn't come back was, oh, wait a second. I think this means that he stays with Golden State. Like, I can see him staying with Golden State for years and years. They'll go to luxury tax. They'll pay Clay. They'll pay Draymond. They will keep this core together. And in a weird way, I think that this tragedy, this nightmare, could actually help the Golden State dynasty moving forward. We will move forward with this program. There's so much more to break down from Game 5. We haven't even talked about the finish, the shots from Clay, from Steph, the stop from Draymond. We'll break all that down right after this. Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. Jalen coming to you live from Toronto. I'm coming to you live from Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport District of Manhattan. We are brought to you by Heineken. Jalen Rose. Obviously, all the discussion today is about the injury to Kevin Durant, but there was an NBA Finals elimination game last night in Game 5. Even with the Durant injury, the Warriors led throughout, and Kawhi Leonard gave the Raptors a lead until these two shots, one from each of the Splash Brothers, got the Warriors the win after Draymond Green came out to help on Kyle Lowry in the corner here to send the series back to the Bay. I'm sure you're about to get on a plane just like the rest of everybody else that was there last night in the arena. What do you think the future of this series holds?
I think the future holds for a 7-game long series like I anticipated from the beginning. And like everybody else, during the ebbs and flows of a long series, you think like double dutch. Man, the Raptors playing at home, they may be able to close it out. What's going to happen in Game 6? Can the Warriors extend the series? Without Kevin Durant, it should be a long series because the Warriors are still really good and their championship pedigree showed, led by the Splash Brothers. They were knocking down huge shots throughout the game. When Kevin Durant went out of the game, DeMarcus Cousins gave them some quality minutes on the offense, and that was enough to carry the day without somebody from Toronto having a spectacular game.
Well, obviously, the day after a game, a lot of people question decisions. Not the decision of Kevin Durant to play, but a lot of the focus today is on the decision of Nick Nurse to call a timeout in the middle of a 12-2 run, 10 of which were from Kawhi Leonard, with Kawhi Leonard handling the ball at the top of the key. There he is, looking pretty tired, but you can never really read Kawhi Leonard's body language because he might be a cyborg. What did you think of this decision here for the Raptors to call timeout in the middle of this run?
Sports is so much about momentum. You see teams lose it really fast. You saw OKC lose it when KD and Russ were there, and they lost to the Warriors when they were up 3-1. We saw the Golden State Warriors lose it when they were up 3-1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and LeBron James led them back to victory. You see it happens during minutes of a game, in quarters of a game, halves of a game. That spurt is the difference a lot of time between who actually celebrates and who goes to the locker room with their heads down. When one of the best players in the game is on a 10-0 run and he looks fatigued at the top of the floor, all you do is allow somebody else to initiate the offense for that play. That's all you have to do. The reason why you don't call timeout, more than anything, is you want that clock to keep running. You want the Golden State Warriors to keep feeling a sense of urgency as you start to get back into the game. You don't now call timeout, allow them to reset, allow them to plan how they want to defend Kawhi, make any changes they need to make, and they were able to do that, which is why they went on a run late, had a couple of plays that they like to run to get Steph a three, to get Clay a three. And then before you know it, the game was slipping away from the Raptors when they had momentum.
I mean, it's easy for us the next day to speak into a microphone and say, oh, they shouldn't have called timeout, especially when it goes the way it went. But the fact of the matter is, in that moment, when they called timeout, I was frankly very confused. I was like, did someone get hurt? Did they not have a play? Is there there must be a reason for this that I can't see for them to do this? Because in the moment, I remember looking, being like, wait, they're on a run. They've got all the momentum. Why would they call a timeout? I was like, did the Warriors call timeout? I was confused by the whole thing. So it's easy to say in a microphone, yeah, they should have done it. But in the moment, I was extremely confused by that decision by Nick Nurse. And it obviously played out the way that it did. You think that's fair to say that the momentum is more important than the rest?
It's definitely fair to say. And when you're at the game, you get a chance to see the body language of everybody on both sides in the building. And so Chauncey and Paul and I looked at each other like, no, they didn't just do that. They let the Warriors up off the mat. It was almost like a standing 8 count. You got to go for the knockout. They had an opportunity to make the Golden State Warriors start to press. When you call timeout, you gave them an opportunity to regroup.
And on that final possession, the one where Kyle Lowry missed the shot, how do you think that could have been better executed by the Raptors?
So that play, that's when you called the timeout, by the way. When it's 15 seconds to go in the game, you're down 1, you're at home, you want to make sure you got the right personnel on the floor, and you want to make sure that the team knows what they're going to do when they double Kawhi Leonard. Because if you watch the playoffs, he sent the Philadelphia 76ers home on a game-winning shot. We saw what he did against the Bucks. We know this guy can make the big shot. They're going to double him. They're going to shadow him. They're going to triple him. When you watch that play again, one thing that went awry for the Toronto Raptors, but that I know this player wants to have back. On the left block, Marc Gasol, you got to screen Draymond Green.
He tried.
He missed that screen. And so when you miss that screen, this becomes a contested shot versus an uncontested shot. And I think that was a factor in clearly how the game ended. Instead of him having an open look, he had a contested look that got blocked.
Well, Jalen, you mentioned it earlier. It's something I think that will become a focus of this series moving forward, and that is the play of DeMarcus Cousins. He did play well on offense, but they took advantage of him on defense. We'll show you all of that and more right after this. The series continues Thursday night on ABC at 9 p.m. Make sure you tune into that. And tonight at 6 p.m., tune in to SportsCenter. They'll be talking about all of the fallout from the Kevin Durant injury in Game 5 in Toronto. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, there's one thing that I know you paid attention to just like me. That is the play of DeMarcus Cousins. He came in and he played great on offense. However, on the other side of the ball, the Raptors did take advantage of him. They put him in pick and rolls. Kyle Lowry went past him, and if he dropped back, they would shoot over him. What do you expect from Boogie in Game 6?
So there was a range of emotions that took place watching Boogie in yesterday's game. The first one was this. He didn't start, which is something that he had been doing previously. Second, they put in Kevon Looney before he did. And as somebody that's been a starter, as somebody that's been a reserve, as somebody that's gotten DNPs, he was headed for his first one yesterday. Kevin Durant got injured, and then he got a chance to play. So yeah, he was terrific offensively. He struggled defensively, and a couple of plays late, almost set him up to be the GOAT when he got the moving screen called on him. If Kawhi or somebody goes down to make the game-winning shot, we're talking about that play. So let's see how he performs in Game 6, knowing that he's going to be part of the rotation.
I think he will be a big factor in Game 6 with all the injuries the Warriors are dealing with. And Kevin Durant, we haven't heard much from him, but he did post this on his Instagram last night. Dub Nation gonna be loud as bleep for Game 6. I'm hurting deep in the soul right now, I can't lie. But seeing my brothers get this win was like taking a shot of tequila. I got new life. LOL. Is it surprising to hear the tone of that message after all the sadness of being injured? He seemed like he was kind of making a joke.
He was making a joke, and I want to make sure I pay homage to KD. I'm not going to drink on national television, and it's really early in the day, but I'm going to pour out a little bit for KD because I hate missing watching him play in the NBA Finals and go against Kawhi Leonard. So that was a shot for you, KD.
I look forward to this series being over, so perhaps in an appropriate time, you and I could do a shot of tequila in his honor. We'll be back tomorrow, ESPN 2 at 2.